Have you ever sent a text that was, supposed to be a joke, but it just landed like a lead balloon? Or maybe an email that you thought was super helpful, but the other person read it as you being critical? I mean, we've all been there, right? Miscommunication feels like it's just a part of life. But why does it happen so often?
Well, it turns out that every single conversation, from a quick text to a huge presentation, is actually built on a kind of hidden blueprint. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on these foundations of communication. We're going to look at the secret structure that shapes how we connect with each other, and sometimes why those connections break down.
Okay, so to get started, let's dive right into the anatomy of communication. Think of it like this. We're popping the hood on a car. If you want to understand why it runs so smoothly or why it's sputtering and stalling, you got to know what the parts of the engine are first. And it turns out that engine has 7 essential parts. You can think of this list as your own personal diagnostic checklist. Seriously, the next time a conversation goes a little sideways, I guarantee you can probably trace the problem back to one of these 7 elements. So let's quickly walk through what each of them means. It all kicks off with the sender and the receiver. The sender is the person who starts it all by encoding an idea. That just means they're turning a thought in their head into an actual message. The receiver, of course, is on the other end, and their job is to decode it, to unpack that message. So, for example, a marketing manager, she's the sender, wants her team to know about a new project. She encodes that idea into a professional email. Her team, they're the receivers, and they have to decode that email to figure out what they need to do. So, how does that message actually get from point A to point B? Through a channel. The channel is just the medium, but the choice of channel, it is absolutely critical. Think about it. If that same manager sends an email, it's formal, it's documented. But what if she makes a phone call instead? Suddenly, her tone of voice adds this whole new layer of meaning. A face-to-face meeting, now you've got body language in the mix. It's the same basic message, but different channels can lead to wildly different outcomes. But what happens when the message gets scrambled on the way? Well, that's noise. And noise isn't just about actual sound, like a jackhammer outside your window. It's anything that interferes. It can be physical noise, like a pop-up ad that covers the article you're trying to read. It can be psychological noise, like if you're so stressed about something at home that you just can't focus at work. Or it can even be semantic noise, like a doctor using super complex medical jargon that the patient just doesn't get. And finally, we have context. And this might be the most powerful element of them all. It's the entire situation, the who, the where, the when, that surrounds any message. I mean, just think about the simple phrase, "you're late." If your friend says it while you're meeting for a movie, it's no big deal, right? It's casual. But if your boss says those exact same words before a huge meeting, the meaning, the feeling, the consequences, they're completely different. Context redefines everything. So, okay, we've got the parts, but how do they all work together? Well, the early ideas about communication were pretty straightforward, but our understanding has gotten way more sophisticated over time. You can think of it as an evolution, from a simple one-way street to a complex, interactive dance floor. The first model we had was the linear model, and it's exactly what it sounds like, a simple one-way street. A sender just shoots a message over to a receiver. That's it. End of story. This model kind of works for something like a TV news broadcast, right? The anchor sends the news out, and we, the viewers at home, receive it. But there's no way for us to immediately respond. It's a really limited way of looking at how we actually talk to each other. Then came the interactive model, which was a huge leap forward. It added 2 crucial things to the mix: feedback and this idea of a shared experience. So now the receiver can actually respond to the sender. But even more important, it recognized that for communication to really work, the sender and receiver have to have these overlapping fields of experience. Shared knowledge, a similar culture, a common background that helps them actually understand each other. And that brings us to the most modern and I think most accurate view, the transactional model. And this one basically reframes the whole idea. It says communication isn't a street at all, it's a dance. In this model, we are all simultaneously senders and receivers. Just think about a really good conversation. As you're talking, you're also watching the other person's face, their nods, their smiles, maybe a confused look, and you're adjusting what you say in real time based on those cues. We're creating the meaning together as a team. So, now that we've got the models down, let's talk about some of the fundamental truths that are true for all of them.
These are like the unbreakable laws of communication that govern all our interactions, whether we realize it or not.
And this one is maybe the most profound of all. You cannot not communicate. Even when you're completely silent, you're sending a message. If a friend asks you a question and you just stare at the floor, you're communicating something. Maybe you're shy, maybe you're angry, maybe you don't know the answer. Crossing your arms, avoiding eye contact, it all speaks volumes.
And beyond that, there are a few other laws to always keep in mind. First, communication is irreversible. You can't unring that bell. And this is especially true in the digital age, where every angry text or poorly worded email can create a permanent footprint. All communication is also purposeful, even if that purpose is just to feel connected. And, like we saw, it's always deeply contextual and it's always part of a continuous process, where every conversation we have builds on the last one.
So, knowing all this, knowing the parts, the models, the principles, it kind of puts a certain responsibility on all of us, doesn't it? It's not just about how communication works, but about how we should use it. This is where we get into the ethics of connection, what you could call the operator's code.
So how can we actually put this into practice? Well, this ethics checklist is a fantastic place to start. It's a reminder to be honest, because really, trust is the foundation of everything. To be respectful, because you don't have to agree with someone to understand their perspective. To be accountable for our impact, not just what we intended to say. To be fair, and make sure all voices get a chance to be heard. And finally, to be responsible, especially now for the information we spread. Always check your facts before you share.
You see, understanding this blueprint doesn't just make you a better speaker or writer. It gives you the actual tools to build stronger relationships, more effective teams, and just a more thoughtful, intentional presence in the world. The mechanics themselves are pretty simple, but how you use them? Well, that's everything. So the real question is, now that you can see the blueprint, what are you going to build with it?